Hi everyone, happy February. Now, February is often associated with love. We've got Valentine's Day in a couple of weeks. So I'm actually going to use this to roll with the concept of love. And I'm going to be focusing on loving ourselves and self-love, and also love in relationships. So just to think about how we do love ourselves and our impact in relationships and our position in relationships. So hopefully February is going to be a month where we explore the concept of love. So we often hear the term self-love, but what does it mean to have a good relationship with ourselves? Well, for me, it's where we feel content, we're not overly critical or harsh, and we actually accept ourselves in this current moment. And I know this can be easier said than done, but it's always something that we can work on. Often people think they're not good enough, or they need to change to meet some perfect ideal of how they think they should be. However, it is possible to be good enough, smart enough, intelligent enough, beautiful enough, muscly enough, all of these things in this present moment, whilst we still work on ourselves and actually become a better version of ourselves. So wanting to improve, wanting to change, wanting to develop doesn't necessarily mean that we don't love ourselves in this moment. It means that we can be in the position that we're in now, know that we are good enough, know that we can change, and still love ourselves unconditionally all at the same time. Do you recognize that you are of worth? Do you recognize that you are of value? Do you recognize that your needs are also important? And these are all the basis of a great relationship, not only with others, but firstly with ourselves. Because if we're in a good place with ourselves, we're also able to then navigate our way in terms of our relationships with other people. And this helps us to define the boundaries around what we need and what's important for us. So if you're able to do this today, what I would recommend is going to a mirror, looking at yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and just noticing how you feel. What sort of thoughts come up when you look at yourself? Are they positive and actually all-encompassing and supportive, or are they harsh and critical? And I don't want you to necessarily judge the thoughts that are coming to you, but I do want you to then reflect upon this exercise. How easy was it for you to do this? How did it feel? What did you notice? What popped up for you in terms of your thoughts? And if you can start to reflect on this process, it gives you some insight into how you're internally talking to yourself on a day-to-day basis, and also potentially where you might want to start to consider making some changes. So for today, can you now start to look at yourself in a more positive light, even if it's just for 5 minutes? Can you also focus on the positive rather than the harsh criticisms and judgments of yourself? So this isn't an exercise to kind of make you change as such, but it's just to consider how you're currently relating to yourself and currently relating to the world around you, and actually if there's anything that you want to do differently to build upon the relationship with yourself. You can be good enough, you can love yourself enough and still encourage yourself to change all at the same time. So we've spoken about the relationship with ourselves. Well, what is a healthy relationship? Well, for me, a healthy relationship is a relationship where each partner feels respected, feels valued, there's not a power imbalance, so everyone's needs are heard and actually given weight to. So there's this mutuality in terms of giving and taking, and it feels like there's a flow in the relationship. Doesn't mean that there's never going to be any obstacles or any communication breakdowns, but actually having that foundation of mutuality and respect then leads to trust, and trust is the basis of a great healthy relationship. In a good relationship, in a healthy relationship, one partner does not have the need to control another one, and they can both actually stand in their positions of power but still be respectful and navigate their way in the relationship. You might want to reflect upon what helps you to feel safe within a relationship. Often how we feel about ourselves can impact upon the relationships that we have within our lives. So we usually tend to gravitate towards people who almost reinforce how we feel about ourselves. And this isn't just about romantic relationships, it can also be friends or family members that we choose to spend time with. So really starting to think about our relationships and whether they feel safe and whether there is that mutuality can also help us to reflect upon our inner world. And actually, maybe we want to change things. Are the boundaries feeling right? Are our needs being met? Is there a sense of give and take? So just taking some time to reflect upon what's important to you can help you to look at if there's anything you also need to change in your current relationships.